What's happening, guys? Rules for Rebels here, and we're going to be doing another story time video. It seemed like you guys enjoyed the last one. I think I talked about my first profitable money-making venture, which was a beanbag cornhole business I started back in college, actually as part of a college project for an entrepreneurship course. If you haven't watched the video, check it out. Maybe I'll link to it in the description box below, but I'm going to try to do these story time things like kind of on a weekly basis. So today I'm going to tell you guys about the first storage auction I ever went to. Maybe some of you guys have some interest in this business. Maybe some of you guys have never even heard of them. Basically, a storage auction is like the television shows Storage Wars and Auction Hunters. When somebody doesn't pay for their storage unit, they give them 30 days or 60 days or whatever it is to pay. Then they have the right to auction off the unit and basically keep the profits to recoup, whatever they're out in storage fees. So I learned about these probably maybe a few months to a year before the television shows came on and before they became mainstream. So, now, whereas a lot of people have probably heard of them, back then it was kind of, I don't want to say underground's probably the wrong word, but not a lot of people knew about them. So I think a buddy had told me about them. One day I happened to hear about one or see one in a newspaper or something like that, which, by the way, if you ever want to know where to find them, there are a number of websites that post upcoming storage auctions. And there's, Storage Auction Treasures. I actually have a website. I don't really update it much anymore, but freestorageauctionlist.com. Put my free little plug in there for myself, but like I said, I really don't update the site anymore, so it's probably not a good one to check. But by law, they're required to post a notice like in the back of a newspaper stating that the stuff will be auctioned off. So if you go back to like the legal section where they're doing like foreclosures and stuff like that, you'll often see listings, storage auction, ABC self-storage facility is auctioning off Jim Garcia's stuff on August 29th. Sometimes they'll say what the units contain, other times they won't. But like I said, I knew nothing about it. I was actually working a job at the time, and I was looking for other hustles and things like that because the job wasn't paying great. And I happened to see, like I said, one of these in the paper. I happened to have the day off of work. The job I was working at the time, I had to work every other weekend. So this week I would have Monday through Friday I would work, and then I'd have Saturday and Sunday off. The next week I had to work Saturday, so I would get to pick a weekday of my choice to have off. So what the heck, I got the day off. I'm gonna go check out one of these storage auctions. So it's kind of funny. I drove out to the storage auction. I think I had $450 in my bank account, literally $450 to my name. At that point, I really didn't even know if I was going to buy a unit. I had some money, but I was like, I'm just going to go check this out, see what it's all about. So I wind up driving over to the storage place, and I'm sitting in the parking lot for a few minutes, and I got kind of nervous. I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to expect. I'm just going to go home. And so I turn around, start driving down the street, and then I kind of told myself, I'm like, quit being a pussy and go to the, just go up, ask the guy. I'm kind of weird. I got social anxiety or whatever, I guess you could say. But whatever. I turn around, I go back, I go inside. I'm like, hey, I've never been to one of these. How does it work? I was the first guy there. So he's like, oh, just wait around. When everybody shows up, I'll take you guys through the gates and we'll go look at the units. So, some of these, there might be 10 units being auctioned off at a time, and they basically take you from one to the next. This one, there was one single unit. The units are basically auctioned off in two forms. The more common type of form that they hold the auctions is kind of like you see on the TV shows. Who's got $10? Okay, $10. Who's got $20? And it's like an auction format, so you know who you're bidding against. You know where the price is. And these can be good or bad. They're good in the sense that you're not going to overpay for a unit, and that you know that this guy bid $550. If you're willing to pay $560, the unit's yours. However, something I find about those types of auctions is because of the competitiveness, a lot of times people will run things up higher just because they don't want that guy to win. So what this was, it was what's called a sealed bid auction. And how these work, basically everybody writes their name and their highest and best offer on a piece of paper. So you don't know what the next guy's bidding. So I might bid 500. The next highest guy may only be 100. So I may have overpaid by the unit by $400. But it kind of takes out that competitive element or people trying to beat you out. So anyhow, I think it was $450. So they throw up the door. You're not allowed to go inside. You're not allowed to touch anything. You can just kind of survey the unit from the outside. Now, when I first got started with this, like I said, the TV shows weren't popular. It wasn't all over the place. So it would literally be, this was my first auction, but I continued to going to them after that. It would literally be 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys. I don't think I ever saw more than 6 guys in an auction. And we wouldn't really run the prices up on each other because there was really no need to. If a great unit came around, it's every man for himself. But otherwise, if it's just kind of run-of-the-mill units, it was a handful of guys. We all knew each other, and it'd be like, hey, you take this one, I'll take the next one, Jim takes the third one, because there's really no sense to run the price up on each other. Anyhow, at this auction, I wind up writing $450. They open up the things. To my surprise, I actually wind up winning. And everybody else, I was kind of the newbie. Everybody else kind of knew each other. So a lot of people were kind of like mumbling, and I was an idiot, and I overpaid because I think the highest bid behind me was like $230 or something like that. But when they threw up the unit, there was 2 flat screen TV boxes, which you don't know if there's actually a TV inside there or not. But I was kind of banking on the fact when I bid $450 at the time, flat screen TVs were a lot more expensive. It's not like now where you can run out and get a 60-inch smart TV for $500. I mean, this was years ago when, flat screens were over $1,000. So I was like, okay, I at least got $500 as long as one of these TVs are out there. And then everything else, I looked around the unit and kind of added up, and I was like, okay, so I'm very easily going to be able to get my principal back or get my money back, and everything else is just gravy, right? So you saw a couple things. There was some furniture, some nice clothing, and things like that. I noticed there was a wicker basket that had magazines in it. And this is, maybe I'll make another video if there's any interest. Let me know if there's interest about how storage auctions work, strategies, things like that. But you kind of look for clues in the units as far as, like, do these people actually have money? So I noticed, like, some watch magazines, like fine watches, watch collectors, whatever, watch aficionados. I think a couple cigar aficionado magazines, GQ, like the types of magazines that were in there are the types of magazines like somebody into higher end stuff would like. So I was like, okay, I think this unit's going to be good. So I wind up winning. They give you 24 hours to clean out the unit. You can't just go in there and pick what you want. You have to clean out everything. If you don't, you'll basically be blacklisted, and you can't go back to an auction at that facility or with that auctioneer. But I go back, I start unloading stuff, and I'm kind of looking at stuff as I'm going, but until I actually got everything back to my house, I didn't know everything I had. Literally, my entire garage was full. My living room was full. I think it was like a 15 by 12 foot unit. And it was owned by a Filipino. You get pictures and everything else in there, birth certificates, everything. So all the pictures, memory type stuff, you can turn back into the facility, and they'll try to get it back to the owner. From what I could gather, I think this family moved overseas. Like I said, I think they were Filipino. I got the impression that they moved overseas and for whatever reason let the unit go dormant or go unpaid or whatever. So as far as like what was in the unit, there was a flat screen TV in one of the boxes. There wasn't in another. So I think it was a 50-inch flat screen TV. It had at the time it was a nice TV. It had like the mood lighting behind the TV that projects onto the wall. So I mean, I knew right there I got my money out of that. There were some Bose in the wall speakers. I think I sold on eBay for $150. There were 2 Pottery Barn chairs. A lot of like nice accent pieces for the home, like pottery, figurines, and things like that. There was this really, really cool bamboo chair. Never seen anything like it. I did a lot of research to kind of try to find out what it is, where it's from, etc. I guess basically bamboo roots grow under the ground, and so this entire chair, which was like a love seat, was made out of one continuous piece of bamboo that I guess they soak and bend, but like really, really gorgeous piece of furniture. I think I wound up getting $400 for that. I actually got scammed by an eBay guy. I put up it was a wrought iron and marble top table, like just a little circular bar table or end table or whatever. I actually wound up selling it on eBay, allowed the guy to pay with PayPal and then pick up the item. He opened up a claim, and because I had no tracking to show, he automatically got his money back. So that was it. I actually did a blog post years ago titled "Don't Get Burned by eBay's Flawed Pickup." I don't know, something like that. But it was a pretty good blog post. Maybe I'll link to that one in the description box below as well if there's any interest. But I mean, that's kind of some of the bigger ticket items. As far as some other stuff that was in the unit, bins and bins and bins, big tote bins full of wooden and plastic Thomas the Train toys. Not only the tracks, but the cars. And I don't know if those are still hot or not, but I mean, years ago, even used, you could get anywhere from $8 to $20 per car. And keep in mind, I literally had I forget what they call those. Those big plastic, storage bins full of them. I think for tracks, you could get $1 or $2 per piece of track, or you could sell like lots of like 3 to 4 pieces of track for like $5. And I had bins and bins and bins of these tracks. There was a whole entire bag full of designer purses. There might have been one Louis Vuitton, one Coach. The rest were like Dooney and Burke and like lower end designers, but still some good money. A lot of higher end clothing. Dooney and Burke, like Guess, Hugo Boss, Calvin Klein. I mean, I can't really think of a lot of other brands, but a lot of nice women's shoes. I think somebody in the family was a nurse, so they were literally garbage bags full of nurse schmucks. The outfits that doctors and nurses wear. And while you wouldn't think there would be money in those, apparently they're actually pretty expensive. And there's definitely a good secondary market for them. So I had some with like cartoon characters. I'm guessing they worked at like a pediatric office. I had other ones that were just normal designs, but made a good amount of money off those. To this day, all my silverware, pots, pans, everything else is things that I got out of that storage unit. I got a lot of cool like knickknacks and signs and stuff that are decorating my house now. You can probably tell I've mentioned off a lot of stuff that I got, and it's not even a fraction of everything that was in the unit. Once I got through all the stuff that was easy to sell on eBay and higher ticket item type stuff for Craigslist, what I wound up doing, there's kind of a higher end resale shop near me. So I think a lot of times when we think retail shop, we think of places like Goodwill that kind of have junk in them for the most part. There are some higher end shops where like it's a resale shop, but they have designer clothes, designer purses, very nice like home goods type items. So a lot of the stuff, just because I had the sheer volume of stuff that I had, a lot of the stuff I wound up just bringing into them. If you let them sell it on consignment, they'll give you like maybe 70% of the value. If you want cash, they'll give you 40%. So I think I sold some of it for cash, some of it I let them sell on consignment and later got paid. A bunch of China sets and things like that, which I sold to either replacements.com or on eBay. But I would say off this $450 investment, I probably wound up making, I wasn't keeping really accurate tabs on it, but and it also took me a long time to sell this stuff, everything. But I would say I probably made between $4,500 and $6,000 off this $450 investment. And I continued going to storage auctions after that. I think that was probably my biggest find of all time. But I definitely made some money after that. I definitely got some good units after that. For those of you guys who are just looking to get into e-commerce or get started selling on eBay, storage auctions can be a great way to kind of break into eBay. And the reason is because the way that I bid on storage auctions, I try to find one or two big ticket items that are easy to sell to where I know I'm going to recoup my money back on those. And then I figure everything else is just gravy, right? So in order to sell everything and really get the most out of every unit, you have to be willing to have garage sales or go to flea markets. And there's not a lot of money in household goods. A lot of your average household goods aren't going to be worth selling on eBay. The shipping alone is going to make it not worth selling. So if you really want to get every penny out of a unit, you really got to be the type of person who's going to go sit at a flea market on Saturday or Sunday and, sell a plastic garbage can for 50 cents and really grind it out. So, it is a lot of work. It's nothing like the TV shows where, like, every unit you're finding, like, oh my gosh, a thing full of 1952 silver quarters and silver's at $20 and nothing like that. I remember after the TV shows came on, what wound up happening is it went from being like me and 5 other guys at an auction to literally, I went to an auction on Christmas Eve that I thought would be less crowded. Over 300 people at the auction. One particular unit wound up selling for $900, and what was in it was 2 mattresses and a couple pillows. Now, there is absolutely zero money in reselling mattresses, and furthermore, even Goodwill in those places won't take mattresses because of all the concerns about bed bugs and stuff nowadays. So literally, getting mattresses or furniture is bad because you almost have to pay to dispose of them. Actually, you do have to pay to dispose of them if you don't got an apartment garbage can or something you can dump them in. But yeah, I was scratching my head. The only thing I could figure is that people watch these TV shows and begin to think that like every unit must, like, even if all of that's in there is a mattress, it must be stuffed with cash or gold coins or something like that. So, they got kind of crazy after that. I realized that at some point, like, these auctions are way too full of people. Prices are going way too high. All these new people coming to the auctions have no idea of what they should be paying. So they're bidding a $100 unit up to $1,000. And it just got too hard to make money. It wasn't worth my time. You had a lot of idiots at the auction. Just kind of, basically people going out there to sightsee and see what the auctions are like and not spend money, which when I'm trying, when the serious people who are looking to buy things are looking to spend money, they get in the way. So I basically realized that I had to find a different way to kind of make money because that wasn't going to work. So what I wanted to do, I said, okay, if all these new people are rushing into storage auctions, I'm going to try to find a way to make money off these people who are ruining the storage auctions for myself. So I basically wound up starting this website called freestorageauctionlist.com. Nothing very complicated at all. It was literally a free blogger site. I threw some AdWords ads up there. I think I wrote an ebook about how to make money with storage auctions and sold that through there. So before all these ebooks and guru stuff was out there, like I was one of the first people to get into this. I was kind of inspired by Glendon Cameron. I think I kind of stole, I don't want to say stole, I took some motivation from him. So I think he was the first one to start like making programs and things like that. I think I was one of the first people to actually monetize the act of, okay, all you guys want to come and ruin these auctions for me, I'll charge you to find out where the auctions were. So at first I had a model where I would charge people like $20 a week to give them auctions in their area. And after that, that just got to be too time consuming. So I was like, look, I'm just going to post all the auctions for free and make my money off advertising as opposed to like selling programs or whatever. But all in all, it was a great run. I made some money doing it. In addition to being a way to make money, it's actually kind of a lot of fun because there's a whole, I don't know if you want to call it gambling or mystery aspect. What's going to be in this unit? Anything could be in there. This could be a junk unit, or there could be great stuff in here. So it was a good time. I mean, if any of you guys are looking for a side hustle, you know, I definitely encourage you to check out a couple auctions, give it a try, see what you think. Any of you guys who are new to eBay or Amazon and trying to like build up your sales rank and get some sales under your belt, I think storage auctions are a great way to do it. Reason being because you bid what you know you can easily get out of the unit, and everything else is money in the bank. So I mean, you can literally just buy stuff, start auctions at 99 cents with enough shipping to cover the shipping, and it's a way without losing money to basically sell some stuff that you get very cheaply, build up listings, and then when you find a regular product that you want to sell, you already have some feedback and some sales rank and things like that. So I don't know, guys, just kind of a little story time off the top of my head. If you guys are interested in storage auctions, if you want to hear more about them, if you want me to get more into the strategy and stuff behind them, feel free to drop some comments below. Let me know you're interested. If you have any questions, ask questions, and I'll try to make a video going into more depth. But yeah, this was basically just more of a story time video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share the video, all that good YouTube stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.